Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Tuesday, the 19th of July, 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Let's jump into it. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed down 0.6% today to 6,650 points. It was a good day for the banks, with National Australia Bank up another 1.5%. It's been the big outperformer among the 4 majors in recent sessions. Commonwealth Bank and Westpac both closed 0.7% higher, while ANZ remains in a trading halt post its bid for Suncorp's banking business. Macquarie Group was down 3% and CSL was off 2%. The big miners were mixed, while Woolworths fell 1%. The best performer on the day was Pendal. More of that shortly. Next best was Mesoblast, up 7.6%, and Whitehaven Coal had another great day, up more than 5%. Worst on the bourse among the top 200 was Xero, off 6%. PointsBet also fell by a similar amount. Story number 2, currency markets continue to move sharply. Today, the Indian rupee fell to a record low against the US dollar as foreign investors dumped Indian equities. It's becoming a very common story. The Aussie dollar is trading around 68.5 US cents. It was a better day for cryptocurrencies though. Bitcoin headed towards $23,000 US dollars a unit, up nearly 7%. Ether jumped 11%, Solana added 13%, and Polkadot, one of the best named of all, rose 7%. Story number 3, 2 of the country's biggest fund managers, Pendal and Perpetual, are discussing a merger. Pendal initially went into a trading halt today, but by the close, its share price had risen 7.8%. Both sides said the discussions were in early stages. There is no certainty a deal will be done. Now remember, back in April, Perpetual bid $2.4 billion for Pendal, which it knocked back. If combined, the two would create an asset manager with about $200 billion in funds under management with a global footprint. Perpetual share price was down slightly today. Story number 4, Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek was at the National Press Club today and said coal mining will continue to be part of Australia's prosperity and it isn't reasonable to say it should stop altogether. The Labor government has promised to cut emissions by 53% by the end of the decade, and she was asked whether shutting down coal was a way to do it. She basically said no. She also said Australia's current path was not sustainable. Ms. Plibersek was speaking at the release of the 2021 State of the Environment report, which she described as difficult, confronting and sometimes depressing. The report says that, environmentally at least, things are getting worse in Australia, not better, and the country has suffered a catastrophic loss of wildlife and habitat. The report comes out every 5 years, and today's edition says Australia has lost more mammals than any other continent. It is certainly depressing reading. The Murray-Darling fell to its lowest water level on record in 2019, for example. And for the first time, Australia now has more foreign plant species than native ones. During the May election campaign, Labor promised to overhaul environmental protection laws. It needs to. And finally, story number 5. Wall Street ended lower this morning after bank stocks closed lower and Apple's share price fell on a report saying the company plans to slow hiring and spending growth next year. Bloomberg reported that the world's largest company plans to reduce some units to cope with a potential economic slowdown. By the close, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq had both lost nearly 1%. That's it for the afternoon report for Tuesday, the 19th of July, 2022. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning with the Wednesday edition of Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.